There was a young girl. When she was growing up, her father and mother died. All the relatives she had refused to take her in the house, so she was abandoned. So in order for her to have food, she went into the streets in order to get food from there. While she was there, she started hanging around with street boys. And you know, street boys, life they live is bad. They sniff petrol. They smoke marijuana. They drink alcohol. So she fell into the same bad habits as a young girl. As a young girl, she was abused in every other way. As a young girl, the girl was beaten at times. She was beaten, moved from one man to the other. She lived a miserable, painful life for a number of years until she became a young woman. One day, a certain prince was visiting the African nation from a very developed nation. The man was wealthy and filthy rich. And when he came to this African nation, he was being toured through the town. And he came across this young girl. And when he looked at her, the man, for some reason, he fell in love with her. So the people who were taking him, they said, no, we have got better girls in this nation who are more educated, who are better dressed, who have never slept on the streets. We have better girls that you can marry. Leave this one. There is another one that we can find for you. The man said, no. So eventually he told everyone to say, give me this girl or you are fired. So they went and talked to her and brought her from the streets. The man took her in his plane back home. After he took her back home, there was a makeover that she went through. She was taught all the manners and everything else that she needed to know as a queen. And the lady started enjoying this luxurious life because this man loved her. A time came after they had been married for 2 years. This lady said, you know what, I have enjoyed staying here, but I need to go and visit my friends, my home nation. So the man, because he loved her, he said, okay, you can go ahead. He gave her everything, money and everything else that she needed, and she went back to this African nation. A month passed. The man did not hear from the lady. 2 months, 3 months passed. He did not hear from her. So he sent some people over to the African nation and said, go and find out what's happening with my wife. When they arrived in the African nation, they discovered that the woman was living on the streets with the same street boys that she was living with the previous time. And the people were shocked. They said, but you, how could you do this? How could you go back to the life that our master took you from? After our master loved you so much, after our master cleaned you up, after our master did everything to change your life, and you went back to do the same thing. Why? The lady rose up and looked at them without shame, and she said, he loves me. She looked at the man and said, no, you don't understand. He loves me. So even if I go back, it's okay. He loves me. He loves me. He loves me too much. So even if I go back, it's okay. You know, there are some people who abuse the grace of God in that way. After Jesus died on the cross for them, after he shed his blood for them, after he gave his life and he said, it is finished. And after he redeems them from their sin, they go back to their filth. They go back to their old sins. They go back to practice the very things that Jesus died to save them from. I wonder, what would that master have said to that girl after she had gone back to that same life? In conclusion, I'm here telling you that Jesus' death is something that you should take very, very, very serious in your life. Jesus' death on the cross should provoke you to live a different life. Jesus' death on the cross should provoke you to live your life for him. Just like Apostle Paul said, that for me to live is Christ.